I'm gonna be honest. I started hating you as I stumbled with your videos because I could relate one to one with the problems I was having. Well, I'm Chris. I studied in Guatemala medicine, and then I moved here to Germany, where I did my residency in neurosurgery. I got afterwards. Continue in a university hospital, being an attending, and I've been attending ever since 2017. Now, I don't know, I came to a point here in Germany where I couldn't move forward, came to a point where I needed to change, I needed a challenge. So I decided to take a next step, and the best way possible to move a little bit closer to home, family and friends, is going to the States and continue to work in neurosurgery at the top level. So I sadly failed the step one 3 times already. I believe I was the first time I just thought, okay, UWorld, and that's it. Then the second time I was maybe a little bit overconfident. Hearing from you that my whole studying system was wrong, it's kind of hard to take, and it's like a belief system that falls down and breaks up. I didn't know Anki cards, and now I'm making a lot of progress with it.
What's your biggest bottleneck? So what's the thing that you need help with the most?
Well, I believe my time management, my organization, maybe maximizing this would be a little bit better. I believe I need a little bit more consistency with work, of course. Right now, with the move from Germany to Guatemala, right now it's a bit much. So I find it hard finding time to study. So that's been a little bit the worst part, I must say. And at the end of the day, when I do too much questions, maybe question interpretation, I maybe the attention span, maybe just I believe I understand everything, but I missed a word, and because I missed a word, I get the whole question wrong.
Okay, perfect. So we just need to pass.
Yeah.
And so is the plan for you to take step one first and then step two? In
Mhm.
your case, you might be the one kind of situation where I would consider taking step two first. The
Yeah.
only reason, the only reason I say that is that your NBMEs before you took your third attempt were 73 and 66,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
What that implies is that you may have underperformed on test day because like either of those scores would have been passing. One thing that happens, I don't know, it's a pretty frequent, is that when people fail their exams, they get this kind of strange, not strange, understandable test taking anxiety.
Mhm.
And so, especially when the stakes go up, it makes them even more nervous. In your case, actually, the higher stakes test is step one because you only get one more attempt
Mhm.
and then
Exactly.
that's it. It just like step two then kind of becomes like a practice for step one, if that makes sense. You're obviously very smart, obviously very like emotionally mature. So, and you obviously work very hard. If I were to project this out, so I think we'll solve the problem of like how do you get more stuff done.
Mhm.
Um, the next thing that I'm kind of thinking of though is what are you doing for your test taking anxiety? Like,
Well,
do you have any kind of like test taking anxiety? Do you think like I'm a little concerned that you said like you went in with passing scores for the NBME and you still failed.
well, not exactly. I don't have any. I hadn't had any big issues before. That's why I don't think about that, at least. And right now, the last exam I had a little bit of anxiety, but it was like okay, took a little deep breaths and whatever. I don't know, thought about something else. Drank a coffee or something like that, and that's it. I didn't thought about it that much. So that anxiety is not a pure anxiety that I get nervous and I cannot think straight or something like that. It's just okay. It's the test.
It
Okay,
was just a little
you
okay.
do it.
All right.
That's it. It's
Okay.
more respect than anxiety.
I would just have you maybe consider doing yeah, you can talk to Eunice about EMDR. I would still consider it.
Hmm.
Um, mainly because we've seen people get 80s on their NBMEs
Hmm.
and then still fail step one.
Oh, okay.
And since this is your last attempt, I would hate for that to happen. Like, even if there was like a 5% chance, like, you are on the precipice of like an incredible life change, right? You're going to be closer to home. like neurosurgeons make like incredible amount of money. Like, I mean, there's just like so many things that will change if you can pass this test.
Uh,
I'm sort of the belief that I want to I want to remove every single possible barrier, even if there's like a 5% chance that it might stand in your way. I want to just like take care of all of them
mhm.
because I want to do so much that it would be unreasonable for you like not to succeed.
Of course,
What
reduce
are your
everything. Yeah,
what are your
of course.
thoughts?
Of course. No, no, it makes sense. I mean, if you can reduce everything that's could possibly make you fail, of course, yeah.
We still have to explain like how is it that you got an 80 on your NBME unused
Mhm,
and you failed your test?
mm,
If you're a medical student or a doctor preparing for either the USMLEs or COMLEX or one of your medical board exams, then be sure to sign up for our free 14-step program where we'll walk you through the most efficient ways for you to improve your score in a short period of time. And if you're interested in getting there faster, be sure to book a free call with our team where we'll break down what it is that's holding you back and, if it makes sense, explain how it is that we can help you to get there more efficiently. Like, how is that possible? And then when we go back and talk about their experience, it's like, yeah, actually, the test felt really different from what I was expecting. And like, oh, I was putting a lot of pressure on myself. And even though they didn't say that they felt anxious,
mhm.
afterwards, when you actually like, talk to them, it did come up. So, can I make a couple suggestions in terms of how to
Sure.
maximize your time?
Please. Mhm,
So one would be, I know it sucks when you're on vacation to do Anki cards, but I would still like it sucks worse to forget what it is that you learned and then have to go back. You take like even a day off or 2 days off, and then you come back and you've got like 2 or 3 times as much cards to do.
mm. Yeah,
And you're forgetting stuff more, and so you have to hit again, more. And then because of that, now you've got more cards because you're resetting more of the intervals. I'm like the least popular person when I give this advice. However, uh, it's a lot easier to just never forget something than to have to go back and relearn it.
right.
And so, like, don't do UWorld. You don't have to do, you don't have to add cards. But at a minimum, if you can just do your old cards
Mm,
when you're on vacation or when you're doing other things, like, just make that a non-negotiable. As long as you're making enough cards, which frankly you were. If you make more cards and better cards, right, and you do that every day, like twice as much as you were before, you will
mm.
get to your goal probably twice as quick.
Yeah, of course. I just need the consistency. Yeah.
And so the easiest way to get consistency when you're working in the hospital is to shift your I mean, I'm an ADHD like night person. I am like the last person to go to bed early and wake up early. However, when I was in training, I learned how to go to bed early and wake up early.
Mm,
And then I did all of my studying or most of my studying before I went into the hospital or before I went into class
mm,
because I knew that when I came home, A, it was variable when I would get home. I couldn't control that. And
mm.
B, I was usually pretty tired when I got home.
Of course.
If you want to study 3 or 4 hours, then that means let's say that you need to leave by 8:30, right? So you might have to study from 4:30 to 8:30.
That would be doable, of course.
Yeah, which, like for a
Mm.
surgeon, that's,
Yeah,
probably not that bad.
of course. It's very doable.
Yeah. And so, like just make sure that you get 8 hours of sleep, but like, you go to bed at 8:30, you wake up at 4:30, you study for 4 hours. And then whatever like time that you have when you get home from the hospital is kind of your time for the
Mm.
next, 3
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah, well, sleep time is might be an issue. I haven't slept since since I started medicine school, so yeah, I sleep already 4 hours night per night, so that's the common thing.
I know. I
So
know.
it's
Yeah.
okay. That's doable as well. So it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah. I mean, sleep is one of those like freebies. It's like it improves cognitive performance, it improves like mood, it improves like everything. And so legitimately, like you are so close. If the only things that you did were always do your old donkey cards, go to bed early and wake up early, and get 4 solid hours of studying every single day.
Mm,
Like when you actually have energy and when you can
mhm,
control your schedule.
mhm,
And you did tons and tons of EMDR therapy and like worked with a therapist. And just on the off chance that maybe you might sort of have anxiety on your test,
mhm,
I would be very surprised if you did not pass your test. I would be extremely surprised because you've got what, like 5 months? Like that's plenty of time. You've done to be really honest. You've done what I would consider to be like inconsistent studying up until this
mm.
point. And if
Yeah,
you've seen results from the inconsistent studying, just imagine what happens when you do it consistently.
yeah, of course.
Because once you reach that level, what we typically see is then like the belief gets even stronger, the
Mm,
motivation gets even stronger, the work ethic gets even stronger, and so then it's like, you know, we're gonna have to like tell you to slow down. Like it's a different kind of level. So there are people who are just like you, smart, hardworking, see a lot of progress, and then they fail, and you're like, what happened? And it's
mm,
like, oh, and then they did EMDR, and then they take it again, and then they pass, and you're like, oh my god, I wish I told them that the first time. So
mm,
I'm since this is your last attempt, like I really want to make sure that we make this one where it's like
of
as
course.
smooth as humanly possible. All right, Chris. Well, it was so good to see you, and I'm really
Mm,
excited for you because I think that there's a lot of positives that we can work with, and so yeah, definitely keep me posted.
of course. Alec, it was very nice to meet you. Thank you for your time. And I hope we see each other again.
What if you could walk into step one already knowing you'll pass? I've watched students transform from failing practice tests to comfortable passes in just 3 weeks. In my next video, I break down the exact 10-step framework that virtually guarantees you'll pass. Not through luck or grinding harder, but through a systematic approach that just works. Click here to watch how to virtually guarantee a step one pass and get the system now.